Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. Our 10th lecture, and it will be about the different techniques. Just as advanced programming, we have also seen some topics related to advanced programming in our last lecture. Now we will see the integer programming and its formulation and branch and bound its graphical method. Also, dynamic programming, its characteristics and its deterministic techniques. Then the simulation, its introduction, its advantages, and what is the Monte Carlo simulation and generation of generating of random numbers. So basically, these all are the mathematical techniques, and we will see in the class, inshallah, their process, their steps of formulation, and their methods of finding the solutions. And we will, in the lecture, we will just go through the basic initial, their introduction. So if we see on the either or R constraints relating to the advanced programming, this is a new idea. We use the big number method. We select a huge positive number m, and we add it to the constraints, and we see that it's whether it is holds for any reasonable choice of xt, xc, or xd of the variables that are defined already, or we check that it is equivalent of not putting any restrictions on the variables. Then we consider the basic value here in the constraint. It is 1500, and we add the big number into 1 minus y1, or we call it this constraint A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3. Then we see if y1 of the constraint is equal to 1, then it means that this constraint is equivalent to 1. 1 will be our objective function. Then if y1 is equal to 0, then this constraint doesn't impose any restrictions on the variables xt, sc, or xd, any other may be x1, x2, or x2, 3. Thus, the set of constraints that we have provides only one of the basic feasible solution of the objective function, that is 5xt plus 1 xc plus 9xt, and so on. So basically, either or if constraints are, okay, if y1 of the big M number is 0, is 1, then it is equivalent to the objective function. Or if it is equal to 0, then it means our variables are independent and it imposes no restriction on that. Other type of constraint in the advanced programming is if-then constraints. Here in the model, if-then relationship between two constraints A and B. If f of x is greater than 0, then g of x is greater than or equal to 0. Recalls that a, b is equivalent to not a or b. Use a 0, 1 variable y is equal to 0 if f is true, and reformulate as minus g of x is less than or equal to m dot y. M again the huge variable that we introduced, and f of x is less than or equal to m into 1 minus y, where m is a sufficiently large number. Here in this, the second part of the slide, I have shown a problem where the decision variables are x3, xa, xb, and xe. Optimal number of batches and objective function is 30 plus 8 plus 15. Maximum profit is 0. And the constraints for available time per week are 5, 10, 20. Actual is equal to 0, is less than or equal to 150, less than or equal to 216, and less than or equal to 200 for the raw material y and z. So it's the example of it's then if-then constraint. Now we also go through the integer programming. In the integer programming, we will see how to formulate the model. So for formulating the model, first we will define the random variables. or the name the variables. For example, the variables are the number of long range jets to buy. We will call it L. M will represent the number of medium range jets, and S will represent the short range jets. So then the maximization problem is P is equal to 4.2 L plus 3M plus 2.3 S, subjects to the constraint of 67L plus 50M plus 35, S less than equal to 1500, or L plus M plus S less than equal to 30, or 5 by 3L plus 5 by 3, 4 by 3M plus S is less than equal to 40, and L is greater than 0, equal to 0, M is greater than equal to 0, S is greater than equal to 0, and LMS are integers. Here, difference between the linear programming and integer programming is that in linear programming we use the full digits, and in the integer programming we use the integers only. So branch and bound method of integer programming is we use the graph or diagram,